Good afternoon. Everyone that has been around YouTube has been introduced to this object. The video promotes the idea of a possible UFO, and many comments simply dismiss it as a speedboat of some kind. I can tell you it's no boat, and it's most likely not a UFO either. Today, we will be using a few tools to analyze the object and the facility in which it resides to see what is really going on here. We are obviously in Google Maps now. We will also be utilizing Google Earth for this project as well. So, let's go ahead and scroll all the way out just to show where specifically on Earth this object is. Google Maps is a great tool for flying around the Earth, exploring interesting things. As you can see, this object is in Florida and is very easy to find. The facility it's located in is part of a larger complex that houses several contractors. Here we see Pratt and Whitney, Rocketdyne, and Sikorsky. Sikorsky is interesting. We're going to see some of the things they've got going on here in a different video, but that's not what we're looking at today. Let's go ahead and move to the northern, more isolated area of the complex where this object is housed. Now you can see the object, and another that looks similar off in the grass to the north. There's a generic parking lot, plus a building. A forklift on a concrete pad is also visible. Now that we've covered the basics, let's look closer at the facility and the context in which this object lives. First, we notice that there are several large parabolic dishes, pretty evident in this picture. They are pointing what I'm going to call downrange, because clearly this is not an airfield. The paved strip itself is 3,000 feet long and 30 feet wide and looks very rough. Certainly not anything you would want to take off or land a plane on. As a comparison, the actual airfield to the south in this same complex is 150 feet wide and 7,000 feet long. So what are they doing here? Let's continue exploring farther down range. You see a yellow diamond in the pavement, then, more interestingly, another set of diamonds with a black object of some kind. This is what we're going to examine a little closer. Unfortunately, Google Maps does not contain 3D imagery of this area. At this point, I do have my suspicions of what this object basically looks like. It is not flat. You can clearly see a shadow. So it's a spire of some kind. At this point, let's switch tools to Google Earth. Google Earth, while not as quick and simple as Maps, is a powerful tool in that it has historic imaging. So let's look at an image from January of 2014. There is a good picture of the pylon. After going back to December of 2010, our object is clearly mounted on this pylon, downrange from the dishes. Obviously, this is a radar cross-section range. What I find interesting is this facility has been here for years, but unlike many other RCS ranges, there is nothing addressing it anywhere on the internet. Let's confirm our bias with some other evidence. Here is an antenna farm at a Boeing RCS range, and another with an actual aircraft mounted on a pylon, all very similar to what we've seen here. Okay, we've determined what the facility is. Now let's answer the object question. This will be short and simple. The best explanation I've found, taking into consideration the contractors involved and the shape and size of the object, this most likely houses a Pratt and Whitney F-135 engine, or at least part of one, the engine that powers the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter. They seem to be testing the radar cross-section of the exhaust nozzle and possibly the rear of the engine itself. The object mimics the rear of the F-35, and the rest of it is made as stealthily as possible to reduce its interference with any tests. Let's look at the size of the object next to an actual F-35 at the same scale. Then, let's check the geometry, noting that it will not be perfect due to the potential angle on the satellite image. Notice how the object matches the geometry and size of the F-35. It's a rather mundane explanation, however fascinating to explore and figure out nonetheless. This concludes this video. If you enjoy the content, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. What are your favorite GPS coordinates?